All right, let's go ahead and talk about the research proposal. What goes into a research proposal? There are four parts. The first part you need is a statement about the question your paper will answer. Now remember, your point of your paper is like an argument. So you need to remember that you can't write a simple question. It can't be the kind of question where if I spend 15 minutes on Google, I'm going to find the answer. And it can't be the kind of question where it can be answered with a yes or no. It actually has to be a substantial question. So you're going to write that question and then give me a statement about that question. So, for example, a question like, how much plastic is in the ocean? Well, that's not going to be a research paper question for an investigation argument. You can actually do a Google search and find out how many millions of tons of plastic are in the ocean. Instead, we want to think a little deeper. So, if that plastic in the ocean question is something that interests you, well, then instead of looking at how much there is, which will give you a quick Google number, you might look at the impact of the current amount of plastics in the ocean on marine life, such as fish, such as turtles, such as coral reefs. And that would give you a greater element to examine, a much deeper element to examine, and a much bigger problem to look at. What is the impact of that plastic? And remember, I said a question can't be a yes or no question. So a question like, should we ban straws? That's a yes or no question. It's either going to be yes or no. Instead, you can look at it in a broader sense. What is the impact on the environment of single-use plastic straws? And that'll give you more area to research and more possible choices for the direction your paper ends up going, depending on what you find. The second part in your research proposal is going to be a few sentences explaining what your argument is going to be. Now, remembering in this first paper that you're going to be writing, the investigative report, you are examining a problem. So, what is your argument around that problem going to be? What is it that you're hoping to do with it? There are two things to look at. The first is the problem, and that will be your first essay. And the second thing that you're going to look at is possible solutions, and that's going to be your final essay. So don't really focus on the solutions yet. Focus on the problem. So tell me more about the problem, what your argument is going to be. Why is this thing that you have chosen a problem? Why are plastic straws a problem? Why are single-use plastics a problem? Your next statement is going to be the context of your argument. Who is going to be impacted by this particular issue? Why does it matter? Who, where is it that you're going to be examining? So, for example, if we're talking about the banning of plastic straws in Arizona, well, who's going to be impacted by that? Well, we've got restaurants. Do most people at home have plastic straws in their house? It's not so common, but restaurants are going to have a big impact. So, why would this matter and how is it going to impact, especially if we're doing it in Arizona? What's the overall impact that you think is going to be seen? Okay, so you're looking at a context, you're picking a place, a location, you're picking a people that it's going to impact. Whatever you do, do not say everybody. Everybody is not impacted in the way that you're talking about narrow it down enough to get it down to a specific group or location or specific people. You don't want it to be too big. It'll make it difficult for you to do the research. The fourth statement that you're going to be presenting in this proposal is a statement of how your argument will differ from that which has been made by other authors. Okay, every topic that you choose will have been done by someone else, but how is yours going to be original? So, for example, if I was going to talk about the banning of plastic straws, well, they've already been banned in California. So, I'm definitely not going to talk about California. How about if I take an examination of a state that's very different from California and I look at Montana, banning plastic straws in Montana? That would be a very different approach. So that's the kind of thing that you're looking at. You're going to put it in a different context. You're going to put it in a different place. You're going to put it in a different view affecting different people. The key thing is that in this research proposal, you are arguing with me that this is how you're going to be able to do a different topic. If you cannot convince me that your argument is original and different, and original and different doesn't mean that you're not going to have some of the same things that you see in your research, but original and different as a whole argument, original in your approach or different in the who you're targeting. If you can't make that argument and show me how you're going to be different, I will not approve the topic. Now, sometimes you may not fully understand exactly how you're going to argue because you don't know enough about the topic. Those are some of the best papers. I'm telling you right now, that's okay. As you start to do research, as you start to do the reading, you're going to realize where you need to change things, how you're going to be different. If you can find in a quick Google search an essay on the internet on exactly the same topic, you probably need to change your view and approach and make your argument completely different. Now, keep in mind, this topic that you are choosing is going to last you for 4 essays. This topic, whatever this topic is in relation to the environment, is going to need to last you through all 4 of the major class essays. So, number 1, pick something that you're interested in. Number 2, make it something different than you think has been done before. A good way of doing that is to choose a particular state or a certain population of people, but make it different. Now, that first essay that we're doing is just going to be examining the problem. You're going to define the whole of the problem. You're investigating the problem, and this will get you your preliminary research that you really need to figure out what it is you're going to write in your final essay. This proposal must be approved before you can begin your research. This assignment must be approved first. If I do not approve your topic, you must resubmit your topic. And below in the instructions of this assignment, you will see a handout on writing a research question, which again addresses some of those issues of not using a yes/no question and not using a Googleable answer, which is basically just a homework assignment kind of question. Don't do that. Pick something broader. should be substantial. What you're going to also see is an example written by a student. I have called that student Adam Student, and they have written a research proposal, also called a prospectus. Now, it's called a proposal and a prospectus. Well, a prospectus is the status that is continuing with your continued research. So you're going to write several research prospectuses throughout this semester, but a proposal is the very first one, and again, it must be approved before you can move on. All right. If you have any questions, contact me right away or speak to me in class.